Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are on this fast forward planet. Spinning around the sun, sadly, still wrapped in a pandemic. Here, 1 year after the Easter, when the then president swore we would all be back to normal. Remember 1 year ago? We were going to be going to Easter egg hunts and the like. Sadly, that was an epic fail. One of the epic failures of public health policy in the history of this country, given what played out from there forward, including as acknowledged by Trump's own pandemic team. But now we're at a new year, 2021, a new Easter, a new spring. And there's a lot of hope in the air, a lot of vaccines flowing. I had my second shot. Thank science, thank the good Lord, thank everybody. And but there's still about basically 6 billion people on the planet have not been vaccinated yet. 6 billion out of 7.8 billion. So there's a shitload of work to be done. Sunday mornings, we set aside all of this a little bit and focus more on song than on talking, although talking is part of what I do here too. Really glad and honored to have Tom Prasada-Rao join us this week. Tom, great to see you. Your music.
So happy to be here.
Hopefully many people out there already are familiar with your music. And if they're not, go to tomprasada-rao.com. And my good friend and bandmate, Karen Brooks from Trouble Sisters and Breakneck Ridge Review. And after a week of hectic lambing, it's hard to see. You've been through hell and back. And hell and heaven. You got these wonderful creatures being born. There's been some mortality on the mother's side. So how are you doing?
I'm good. Yeah, life and death is so interesting. And
Karen, we're getting a weird staticky thing around your voice right now.
It's probably my internet going down. Unfortunately, let's see if there's anything I can do.
Well, let's
continue with Tom.
Let's start with Tom and then mess with a few things and see how it goes. Hold on, So Tom, you're new to this show. And welcome.
Thank you.
But you're not new to the music scene at all. You've had a long and wonderful career, both producing and writing and playing. So, how are you doing these days?
I'm doing all right. Yeah, I've had quite a medical journey the last couple of years, but I'm doing really good, actually, right now. So,
good on you for that. David Ross, who's a regular here too, has been in and out of the hospital through this year with parts of a long-standing issue he's faced relating to colon cancer in the 1980s that then has sort of been haunting him now. So best wishes to David.
David Ross?
Ross.
Ross.
He's mostly, his history is as an art curator and museum director, but he's a really fine musician. And he's here in the Beacon area. So anyway, best wishes to him and anyone else out there who's ailing. So what's on your musical mind on a morning like this?
Well, last year about this time, I had written this song for George Floyd called $20 Bill. And, it kind of mushroomed that song. And, tons of people, tons of our contemporaries covered this song. Close to 200 people covered the song.
Fantastic.
But I was just thinking about it. I was riveted to CNN and watching the trial this week. And, it all just came back. It's just unbelievable. So that's what's on my mind right now.
What would you like to play that?
Well, I could do that song.
I think it'd be wonderful. I've heard it a couple of versions, and you were on that. There's this organization, Braver Angels, that had a bit of a songwriting contest, and that was one of the songs you performed there too.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, love to hear it.
Okay, all right. This is called $20 Bill for George Floyd, and you do a search for it, you'll be able to find a whole ton of people have covered this song. I'm really grateful for it, but here we go. Some people die for honor. Some people die for love. Some people die while singing to the heavens above. Some people die believing in the cross on Calvary Hill. Some people die the blink of an eye for a $20 bill. Some people go out in glory, yeah, with the wind at their back. Some get to tell their own story, write their own epitaph. Sometimes you see it come, sometimes you don't know until you run out of breath with a knee on your neck for a $20 bill. Oh, brother, I never knew you. And now I never will. Oh, but I make this promise to you. I'll remember you still. Take, eat. This is the body. It's time to break the bread. Do this in remembrance, just like the good book said. Sometimes the wine is a sacrament. Sometimes the blood is just spilled. Sometimes the law is the devil's last straw, the future unfulfilled. Like the dream they killed. For a $20 bill.
Spectacular.
That was
song.
gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Real testament to a moment.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you guys.
Yeah.
Andy, did my sound get fixed, or is it just that
Sounds
it's Easter
great.
Sunday and
Sounds great. Hallelujah.
okay. I'm getting my fiber optic installed on Tuesday. I'm a test one for the town because they know I'm a blabbermouth and I will talk it up if I get. So they're putting mine in first. I'm like one of the first few. I'm like, okay, sure. So
That's
it'll be
exciting.
interesting to see what happens if I'm on next weekend, to see if there's a better.
That's exciting.
You know, it's just so random. It goes in and out constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Karen, describe a little bit what it's been like this past week or so with the sheep.
The sheep. Well, I had 6 days in a row, one mother lambed every day, which was very nice of them. because some years I'll have 3 or 4 in the same day, which is total bedlam. And then, as I wrote on Facebook, it's just Wednesday, one of the mothers was fine with her twins. They were born on Monday. That was the end of the 6th, the run of 6. And at 10 o'clock at night, it was like raining, and I went out and moved everybody in, and she didn't get up. And then I realized something was wrong, and I spent till 4:30 in the morning doctoring her. And meanwhile, her daughter lambed in the barn. I pulled those babies out, and they were almost dead, so it's good I was there.
Oh.
And she didn't make it, that mother. And I had a couple neighbors come over and help me take care of things. And those babies are now very healthy bottle babies who need to be fed every 4 hours. So
Oh boy.
there's 16 lambs so far. I have another 7 mothers to go. So
Wow.
yeah, I'll try, if the internet cooperates, I'll go out with my phone later. You can tell me when, because I see you've got some people signed up at 11:30. And Pat
on
Jones
the
was going
show,
to try
it'll,
to, yeah, and Pat Jones
There
was
we
going
go.
to try. Oh, there. Yeah. So she's no longer with us, and she was such a good mother for so many
Wow.
years. I mean, she really was. I really don't know what happened, and I kind of know the possibilities for what can happen. And it just didn't make sense. So, and the little guys were curled up next to her, even though she was
They're
almost
so
gone. And,
beautiful.
yeah, they're sweet, and they're very attentive to me now. They're really noisy, so you'll see them because they think I'm their mom and I'm the milk mother. So it's like, meh, meh.
So Jack, my younger son, when he was young, he used to work at Glenwood, the farm complex near us.
The goat farm, yeah.
And he bottle fed some of the baby goats. So if you need help, he can pop up there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, it's right now they're on the every 4 hours, which is really a pain.
Yeah.
But they'll be on every 6 hours next week, and then every 8. It gets easier the bigger they get. And they're learning how to actually do it themselves. It was a 2-hand or 3-hand job at first, but now better. So
well, life goes on. Passover, Easter, all these spring holidays have a lot of that. They revolve around the cycles of life. So what's on your musical mind with all these layers of things going on?
I thought about singing that song I wrote, "We All Need to Be Fed," which I wrote, while I was a single mom at that point with 4 kids and sitting by the fence. Okay, everybody's fed, everybody's fine. And then all the sheep started coming over, and the donkey came over, and my dog's barking. So the song, "We All Need to Be Fed," which, it seems appropriate. So let's see if my internet will survive for this long.
So far, so good.
Yeah. Let me scooch that one over. Hey there, sheep, you've been out since dawn. Can you tell me, please, where your mamas have gone? And is it just hunger that makes you sound like a crying? Hey there, dog with your eye on the fence. Can you tell me, please, do you know how to dance? You howl at the moon for a second chance. Are you just crying? We all need it, we all need love. The way I see it, we all need love. You can feel it, you can feel it. We all need to be fed. We all need to be fed. We all tell me, is there really any place to go? Sometimes when it's dark and you're out in the cold, do you feel like crying? We all need it, we all need love. The way I see it, we all need love. You can feel it, you can feel it. We all need to be fed. 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 Hey there, donkey, I can hear you bray. Can you tell me, did you get what you needed today? Will you still be hungry when you've had your hay and feel like crying? And hey there, sheep, you've been out since dawn. Can you tell me, please, where your mamas have gone? And is it just hunger that makes you sound like a crying? We all need it, we all need love. The way I see it, we all need love. You can feel it, you can feel it. We all need to be fed. 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 Did something weird happen with my sound a few times? It was okay?
I don't think so. It sounded good.
Oh,
I mean, the
okay, I
guitar
heard
was
this
a
like
little loud
wham.
compared to the voice, but
Okay, it was, yeah, maybe I was hitting the other guitar that's over here. I was like hearing this really strange cymbal. Oh, I
didn't
can't
hear
hear you, Andy. Andy, I can't hear you.
Yeah, Andy, you might be
Imagine that. Imagine that. I'm
Oh.
muted. How
I
many
thought
times
I
a
did
day does that
something
happen
wrong.
to you? No. Anyway, Laurie Siegel was saying "sounds beautiful," Karen,
Oh,
out on
that's so nice.
Facebook. So I think the signal is fine.
Good.
And yeah, we need to be fed. You're bringing me back to a year ago when one of the first sessions I did on this webcast was with a team in Bhopal, India. Let's see, yeah, it was right around now when India had when Modi announced a nationwide lockdown in a nation of 1.2 billion people. And people started just streaming all over the place to get back to their villages, carrying the virus probably with them. And when people were locked down, the poor had no way to get out to get food or water. So in Bhopal, this team, literally a year ago, had been self-organizing to distribute food to those who couldn't get it themselves in that city. And that gets to that reality. We're all there to help fill gaps. You know, if you're out looking and thinking, gap filling is an important part of what we do.
My friend in Ireland, they are still only allowed to go within a mile of their houses where she lives.
That's wild. Yeah, and France is in a lockdown too. Andrei Kordrescu, the poet, says, sad, beautiful songs would join, but I'm kind of foggy. No new poems. He's tired after a year of a plague journal. Good to hear from you, Andre.
Hi, Andre. Hi, Andre. I miss you.
Yeah. So, Tom, are you regularly online as well? Do you do a show, or how can people find you?
I don't have a show per se, but I'm on a lot, various things here and there, usually 2 or 3 times a week.
Great. Yeah. And as I said earlier, TomPrasada-Rao.com. People can find your stuff.
Yeah.
And so I don't know if another song comes to mind for you for this morning.
Oh yeah, I can definitely do one. You were talking about that Braver Angels thing. I don't really quite know what the status of that organization is right now, but they had a song contest, and Peter Yarrow, who's an old friend of mine, said, "Tom, you should submit this song for that contest." And I said, "I'm too old for contests." He says, no. He says, "It'll be really good." And so I'll give you a little bit of background as to how I wrote this song. It was last year, 2020, the spring of 2020, right after the pandemic hit, and I was going through chemotherapy at the time, and there were all these protests around the country. Before George Floyd was murdered, there were protests around the country because people didn't want to be confined to home. They wanted to go to work, and they wanted, they were out of work. Obviously they couldn't make money and things like that. So there were all these protests, and I was paging through through my news feed, and I saw this picture of a woman in a protest in Nashville saying, "Sacrifice the weak, reopen Tennessee." And it was harsh, man. I was so angry about that picture that I started writing a response right away. But it was, filled with, like self-righteous anger, Yeah, that's the picture.
There it
That's
is.
not the woman in the foreground is not the one holding up the sign. There's a
Yeah.
face behind that poster.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so anyway, I kept thinking about the woman holding up the sign, and I finally got to the point where I realized, if that was me, 10 years ago, and my daughters were young and they were at the table and I didn't have food to feed them with, or I might be holding up a sign too,
Right.
and it kind of gave me a window into the woman holding up the sign. And so I wrote this song from this perspective, just a song to her as a person, as a human being. I don't know her name. I don't, but this is my song to her, and this is the song that was in that Braver Angels contest called "Even You."
Great.
So here it goes. I'll play it on my little violin here. All right, here we go. You hold up your protest sign. Feels like the end of times. It's looking tough tonight in the land of the free. It's right on my Facebook feed, all there for the world to read. And my heart starts to bleed. So this is from me. Whoever you are, whatever you've done, it's nothing that you can't overcome. And whatever it is you're still going through, even so, even now, even you, The world makes us enemies, but that's not who you are to me. And I will still believe that we could be friends. I'm sure that you're struggling now. You know I am too, and how. So let's make a simple vow. It's not how this ends. Whoever you are, whatever you've done, it's nothing that you can't overcome. And whatever it is you're still going through, even so, even now, even you, when it's impossible to right the wrong, there's still a refuge where we both belong. And wherever that is, we'll make it through. Even so, even now, even you, even now, even me, even you.
That's just great.
Gorgeous.
You're
song.
reminding me of a conversation Reggie Harris had on here
Oh yeah?
when he sometime last summer. We're getting a little bit of a feedback loop right now. Hold on. I can't tell why that started.
Huh.
It wasn't there earlier. Hold on one second. Anyway, let me just tell you briefly about Reggie. Last summer, there was a Black Lives Matter protest up in, I think it was Cobleskill, up in the part of New York State where he lives, on a town green. And there was at the same time, there was a MAGA rally. And he went kind of over, he said he got into a bit of a, nose to nose debate, let's put it mildly, with someone from the MAGA rally. And then Reggie was feeling his own emotions rising. He describes eloquently how he sort of had to pull back, and he paused at a moment in the middle of this conversation, and he said, "My name's Reggie. What's yours?" And suddenly it changed to an actual conversation, which I thought was so interesting. And what you were describing, that initial reaction you had when you're writing the song, I think anyone who's a songwriter, or for me as a writer, you start in and it's very hard edged, and you're thinking, attack mode or whatever, and then there's that other aspect that emerges.
Yeah. I think it's these days, such polarization, between the two different points of view. It's so hard to find a place to meet in the middle. But I think the more that we can do to humanize people who are on the other side, it serves us to do that, because it helps create this environment where we can talk to each other. And hopefully, I see a little bit of that happening, with our new president, and, hopefully it'll start, we just kind of keep, banging our heads against the wall, and that's what it feels like. But I think, just to be consistent and, try not to give in to to the anger or to the jabs, that we receive from the other side.
Yeah, I think Biden put it well recently when he said it was at his press conference, and this is where the media come in. They were trying to get him to say, well, compare what he's doing to Trump, to sort of be divisive. And he said, I'm just trying to get work done. He didn't rise to that bait. And the media, being part of the media for 35 years, we too often, we intensify or look for the conflict and not look for the resolution.
Yeah, that's so true. We're always trying to prove a point rather than engage in a conversation. I mean, speaking for myself, that's the temptation, and so hopefully we'll find a better way.
Yeah.
Hopefully we are finding a better way.
Well, through songs like that, I think they illustrate a better way.
Oh, well, thank you, Andrew.
Karen, what else is on your musical mind? It was around a year ago that you sang From a Distance, which was the other thing we were all grappling with. And that Julie Gold song had been written in a very different context. But you have a good talent for finding a song to meet the moment.
Well, I want to interject that I've decided to run for select board in my town.
I'll tell Lisa. Lisa
which
was
is like the three, it's a three-person board, and our town is completely divided right now, which is why I decided to run. I was actually asked to run by some folks that said they thought I was the only person that could actually run and win right now, which is a little frightening because I don't really want to do the job because it's a lot of work. But at the same time, I care so much about this town. I've been here for almost 39 years. And it's only 500 people year round. And so when they are divided, and it's money related, it's so many layers that I feel really strongly about it. So I had to write my candidate statement, and I had to get signatures, and I intentionally drove around because I know so many people after being here that long. I drove around to different people, not the people who asked me to run. And talk to them. And it felt really good. And the very first thing I did was call the person who I thought would be also running, and had an 1.5 hour long conversation with her and said, I have no intention of having any kind of negative thing happen. So I feel pretty good about it, but it's also a little scary. It's not really, but tell Lisa, yes. And
Lisa she just wrapped up her 2-year stint as a board of village trustee here, and she appreciated every moment of it. But she's also glad she's no longer in the public sphere. So good luck.
It's a little much. But I have lots of people who would like. Oh, I got an echo now. Okay.
Yeah,
I have a lot of people. Yeah, what's happening?
There is some feedback a little bit. I can't quite tell. But also your mic is jostling, or there's a little bit of a. I'm hearing.
My arm, that one's touching it. Maybe that's what it was. Or just me, maybe my leg. Who knows? Talking. Oop, there you go. I don't know. Should I try a song? I think.
Yeah, try a song. I just think get back up from the mic a little bit.
Yeah.
I think you could see it sort of jostling.
Okay.
No, I'd love to hear another song.
It's definitely my leg. It's my leg. So okay. Well, I was torn. I wanted to sing that song I wrote for Papua New Guinea, but I think I might do. Is it still staticky?
No, I was just testing Tom's feed. First, there is feedback from Tom's line.
Honestly, it's Easter Sunday. I would be surprised if my internet goes out completely pretty soon because people are doing Zoom calls with their families.
Right, of course. But let's hear the tune.
Yeah. So this one I think I will do. This is I wrote for Michael Collins of Ireland. But it also feels like an Easter Sunday song also. So let's see. Down the hill from Clonakilty, at the crossing of the road, and you could sit across the table, raise a glass and drink a toast, and I will speak it if I'm able. In this place I love the most, how long, how long, how long will we see you? How long, how long, how long will we feel you? So many years you have wandered, so many years you have roamed, like a child. I forgot the words. Wait a second, I'm gonna try that again. So many years you have wandered, so many years you have roamed, like a child with no tomorrow, like a dream without a home. Yes, I know your heart is tired from all the places you have been. Here we hope to give you comfort. Find the door and come in. How long, how long, how long will we see you? How long, how long, how long will we feel you? And when you think you finally found it, shed a tear and dry your eyes. He was right outside your doorstep when the sun burst through the sky. I forgot one of the verses. Oh, thank
Oh,
you.
come on. It's a Sunday morning.
It is a Sunday morning and I've got
You're
sheep on
forgiven.
my mind.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, maybe
Yeah.
maybe you could take us to the barnyard in a little while.
I'm thinking I'm going to go out because I like to check them every 3 hours, and it's been a few hours, and then
Wow.
it's feeding time, and then I will hopefully have service out there on my phone and give you a little show. Probably maybe no sound, but at least picture or sound. It seems to work.
That would be fun. I guess in a week it would be even more fun if,
I'm
depending on your
really
signal.
it'll be really interesting to see how much difference it makes. Yeah, a gigabyte per second is the
Wow.
speed. That's like huge if it's true.
Yeah. Well, we'll
Yeah.
find out. We'll find
Yeah.
out. I keep wishing every time Patrick, I mean, not Patrick, Joseph Poupe is on
Joseph, I
from
know.
Lusaka. You know, he's so constrained by bandwidth, but it's been wonderful to
Yeah.
have him on the show.
And I wanted to tell you, this is like, well, I could email you, but when you click on stereo, it causes everybody to use more bandwidth. So it's
Yeah,
a good tip for us. Yeah,
we shouldn't use it.
we shouldn't use it. Yeah, there's a few things we shouldn't use. But Tom, it's so great to see you. I'm so happy to see you, and I miss you from Falcon Ridge too. I used to see you a lot. So we have sung together, believe it or not, but it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a while. Very, yeah.
So you were a Falcon Ridger too, Tom?
Tom was a big Falcon Ridger, right?
Back in the day, yeah. Back in the day,
Back in the day.
I ended up
Back in the
moving.
old days.
I ended up moving to Texas for like 15 years, and so
Yeah.
it's hard for me to get back east then.
Yeah. I haven't been there in a long time, but I used to run the workshop stage when Sunny Oaks gave it up.
Oh, yeah.
But it's been a long time. I haven't been to the new site, but it was a good
And
time.
You're making me miss Jack Hardy. I think it's
Yes.
been 10 years. 10 years since
Yeah.
he passed.
Has it been?
It's like ridiculous. I
has
can't
been.
believe that.
Wow.
I did a story about him for the Times.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Wow.
about his Greenwich Village weekly sessions. I loved that fast folk just because it drove people to just keep coming up with more stuff. It's kind of cool.
Well, I'm going to sign off, and I'll hopefully see you guys later, but I'll listen
you
in
should.
too if I come back in. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
and,
I mean, the sound issues are all fine now, so don't feel
good.
rushed. But
Good.
let us know how they're all doing.
All right, I will. Thanks.
Great to see you again, Karen.
Nice to hear her too.
Yeah, she's so wonderful. She's part of this Trouble Sisters with Laurie Siegel and Melissa Ortquist, and they just do some spectacular vocals. Of course, as you know, the hardest thing about online music is it's still virtually impossible to do simultaneously.
Yeah, to play together. Yeah. It's damn near impossible.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
So do you have a last musical thought this morning? It's been great to get to know you a little bit
here. Yeah, it's been my pleasure. It's been wonderful. It's like Sunday brunch with Andy. That's awesome.
You just have to bring your own donuts.
That's right. Well, I can do another song I wrote last year. I've had quite a year of writing. This is one I wrote with Grace Pettis. I'm not sure you know who Grace is, but she's Pierce Pettis's daughter, and the apple does not fall far from the tree. She's an amazing songwriter, but she had written on one of her social media posts last year was to her husband talking about something that they couldn't find anymore, and she had remarked to him something along the lines of, well, after all, honey, this is the year of losing things. And I loved that line. I responded to her right away, and I just posted. I said, wow, I can't wait to hear that song. And she said, well, let's write it together. So this is what we wrote a few days after that. It's called The Year of Losing Things. Oh, let me turn this on. There we go. Been losing hope, losing sleep. About lost my mind in the dark and deep. Lost track of time, there goes spring. This is the year of losing things. The I see yous and the I can't breathe. St. Jude, won't you pray for me? Won't you help us to believe? 'Cause this is the year of losing things. Somewhere along this road, I lost my way. Trail went cold. What good does it do to gain the world and lose soul, not to lose my patience, lose my faith, lose my keys to the pearly gates. Guess nothing's safe as it seems in this year of losing things. This is the year of losing things. Well, I lost some friends in the black and blue, the ones that swear it's all fake news. But if they all think less of me, well, this is the year of losing things. Way down in the rabbit hole, that's where the truest colors show. Guess we'll find out what next year brings after the year of losing things. And I'll miss your body in my bed and your vibrato in my head, and all the songs we used to sing. 'Cause this is the year of losing things. This is the year of losing things. This is the year of losing things.
That's spectacular.
Oh, thanks, man.
Too true. Is that out? Is that recorded and out?
No, Grace just came out with a new album, but we wrote this after her album was in the can, and I've done some YouTubes on it, so it's on my YouTube channel, but that's about the only place you can really find it.
Is that findable under your name, basically?
Yeah, on my YouTube channel is Tom Prasada-Rao.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, Tom Joyce in Beacon gives it 5 hand claps there in the comment.
Thank you, Tom Joyce.
We've all been there. I'm going to throw in a tune called "A Very Fine Line" that I wrote a while ago. It was more like during the Great Recession, before the Great Depression and the Great Pandemic. but maybe you'll get a bit of a kick out of it. I don't have a very good setup here, mic-wise, still, but hopefully it'll be legible. It's a very fine line between winning and losing. A very fine line between living and dying. A very fine line between loving and leaving. Most of your life you spend walking a very fine line. Well, 5 out of 6 lotto numbers won't win you a dime. That driver ahead is a nut, you may soon be flying. The girl's out the door if you say right things at the wrong time. Most of your life you spend walking a very fine line. It's a very fine line that you got to walk. Gotta watch every word when you make small talk. Gotta watch every step. Watch every step or you'll find yourself crazy and crying. Most of your life you spend walking a very fine line. A very fine line. A very fine line. Those 5 out of 6 lotto numbers won't win you a dime. That driver ahead is a nut, you may soon be flying. The girl's out the door if you say right things at the wrong time. Most of your life you spend walking a very fine line. It's a very fine line that you got to walk. Gotta watch every word when you make small talk. Gotta watch every step or you'll find yourself crazy and crying. Most of your life you spend walking a very fine line. A very fine line. A very fine line. People say, God, I'm forgetting the second verse. So I'm going to leave it right there. And it's that kind of morning. And by the way,
Wow.
Karen is, I think, out of the barn. So let's check in on, whoops, why is that not working? I can see it, but you can't see it.
Oh, I can't see it.
Yeah, wait. Come on, Karen. She'll have to try it again. Oh, yeah. It's a very fine line between loony and sane. There we go. Very fine line between a loss and a gain. Very fine line between pleasure and pain. Most of your life spent walking that very fine line. Well, people you think are a genius are this far from bent. President blows an election by 0.5%. We all know love hurts, but we try it again and again. We know that the line between love and despair is so thin. It's a very fine line that you got to walk. Gotta watch every word when you make small talk. Gotta watch every step or you find yourself crazy and crying. Most of your life is spent walking a very fine line. Well, it's a very fine line that you got to walk. Gotta watch every word when you make small talk. Gotta watch every step or you find yourself crazy and crying. Most of your life is spent walking a very fine line. A very fine line. Life's a very fine line. It's all a very fine line. A very fine line. Sort of. There you go. It's a very fine line between getting a song right and wrong.
Isn't that the truth?
And here's Andy Carp and Debbie. Debbie, I can't remember your last name.
Cohen, but Carp is fine, or just Debbie.
Okay. And I'm
Morning,
now
Andy.
getting a bit of a feedback again. But
Yeah, me too.
All right, how about now? Better or worse?
it's
How's that?
still there.
Feedback. Okay, I'll turn down the. Hold on. How about now?
Hello.
Yeah,
Yeah, can you?
I
No?
still hear.
I don't think he's hearing us when you do.
I know I hear you, but it's
Oh.
there's an echo.
Well, all right. Let me put back the echo cancellation then. Hold
Yeah,
on.
that's probably it.
All right. We were.
Yeah,
told
we
to-
found that earlier.
Okay. Let's see what we can do. Hold on. Sorry.
That's okay. I think that's better. Whatever you
Okay.
just did.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. We are back. Hold on a second.
Good. And I see
Okay.
Pat
All
right,
Mazza's
now-
coming in from Seattle.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, from Seattle. Nice.
Nice to
Good.
meet you, Pat.
Greetings, East Coasters.
Hi,
Thank you
Tom.
for waking up early.
Where are you
I'm,
from, Tom?
I'm an old guy. I barely can sleep past 6 or 7 in the morning. I'm usually up by 5.
I'm
Is
getting
that,
to know
is that
that
background too bright, or should I move a little bit? Or
It's okay. We can see you.
okay,
Little. And Tom, so as Tom Prasada-Rao has been on for a while, and wonderful tunes this morning. Tom, you can hang out. This is all about hangout time. So
Yeah, well, I have to
you.
get to work, but I appreciate spending the little brunch time with you this morning. It's
wonderful.
been really fun. Great to
Feel
get to know
free.
you.
Feel free
Yeah.
to come back anytime.
Okay.
Nice tunes. Yeah.
Yeah,
That
really
was
nice.
a wonderful set.
All right. Thank you so much.
You
All right.
take care. You be well.
Okay. You too.
So I assume you have not met each other, Pat Mazza and
No,
Andy and Debbie.
it's all new.
Hi, how are you?
Andy and Debbie are in the Croton area here along the Hudson River,
uh-huh.
and the sort of the Pete Seeger zone.
Yes, indeed.
It is.
Indeed.
And
So-
Pat, you have a long career in environmental activism and the like, and it's great to
Yeah,
connect
about
with you here.
40 years. Yeah.
Yeah, there you
with a
go.
little prelude in straight journalism. But yeah,
And a musical side, which we can.
Yeah. Let's hear
yes, we'll
about
talk
that.
more about that. Yeah.
So Andy and Debbie, what's on your musical minds on this Easter morning? And
Well,
let
when
me
you
get.
sing blues, it's really hard to find cheerful things.
Oh,
So
there's happy blues.
yeah, well, somehow we couldn't find one, but
That's
we
okay,
did.
by the way.
We did, in order in order to in order to feel cheerful, one also needs to feel other things as well.
Absolutely.
So this is an old Bessie Smith tune, first recorded in 1923 with Clarence Williams, and it's called "Oh Daddy." And I think it had a clarinet. It had a clarinet, and it had a clarinet, banjo, and piano. But I don't need any of
Sorry,
those because
folks.
I've got Amy.
That's okay.
All right, here we go. That's good.
Just like a flower, I'm fading away. The doctor come to see me most every day, but he don't do me no good. Why? 'Cause I'm lonesome for you. And if you care for me, you will listen to my plea. Oh, Daddy, think what you're doing. Think what you're doing. Oh, Daddy, think what you're losing if you're fooling. We're gonna let God gave you is gonna make me feel so awfully blue. When you leave me and you quit me, you'll curse the day that you ever quit me. Oh, Daddy, think when you're all alone. You'll get so lonely, just wait and see. There'll be someone else making love to me. And Daddy, Daddy, you won't have nobody at all. Oh, Daddy, think what you're doing. Think what you're doing. Oh, Daddy, think what you're losing. This what you're doing. All the little love that I gave you is gonna make you feel so awfully blue. When you miss me and long to kiss me, you'll curse the day that you ever quit me. Oh, Daddy, think when you're all alone. You know that you are getting old. You're gonna miss the way I made your jelly roll. Then Daddy, Daddy, you won't have no mama at all.
That's pretty sweet.
Thanks.
There we go. Good.
And once again, that's it's happy blues ish.
Yeah, there's definitely strength and happiness in the
Uh-huh.
blues, of course. So
Yeah,
She certainly was going for what she wanted.
that's true.
Uh-huh.
So Pat, tell us a little bit about your work and how it intersects with your music.
Oh boy. So yeah, I've been I've lived in the Northwest since 1977. I am a native of Pennsylvania, part of the East Coast diaspora. I've been engaged in one form of activism / journalism or another for about 40 years. When Ronald Reagan got elected in 1980, it was like a clarion call to me that things were just going to go south, and I started out in straight journalism, and I decided I needed to be an axe grinder. I couldn't go down with the objective side of things, so spent a lot of time. I lived in Portland for about 20 years, and in that time, I did work. Wrote and edited for the kind of radical rag in town, and we were known as Trees and Freeze because we were in the center of we were kind of the house organ for the direct action movement, which was really alive and vital. My newspaper house, there were, some of the original actions planned of the tree movement, and we were, close to the people who were sitting down in front of nuclear bomb trains. Hey, yeah, that's my more recent foray back into direct action out of climate policy frustration. This is a little more recent. This is 2014.
Yep.
When the Delta 5 sat down on a railroad track at BNSF Delta Yard in Everett, Washington. And, there's a woman up on the top. I'm kind of heavy, so I make good ballast for a tripod. And so we actually, a couple of years later, managed to get a judge to let us present a full necessity defense. There's the policy wonk on the train track, catching up on my reading. I've been a kind of mixed being, what I did. And, after Portland, I came up to Seattle and became known as a policy wonk, founded a group and got frustrated, and decided I needed to go back to direct action. So Delta 5 was, my first foray, my first of a couple of journeys to county jail in recent years. But a couple of years later, in 2016, we managed to get a judge agree to let us present a full necessity defense, which is the defense that said, yeah, we broke the law, but it was to prevent a greater harm. It was the first climate civil disobedience necessity defense presented in an American courtroom, second in the world. The other one was in UK a couple of years before. But unfortunately, the judge let us present, but he didn't let the jury consider the evidence because he said we hadn't proved we had no reasonable legal alternative. But so that was lessons learned, which actually are being applied in later attempts at necessity defense. We had some of the best, people like Tim DeChristopher, Ken Ward, people who are really, on the forefront. But anyway, in my earlier days, back in Portland, I also got involved in the local music scene. I wrote a music column, produced shows. It was the music scene which Kurt Cobain said was the one that generated grunge. So there's Seattle. I love Seattle. I've been in Seattle 23 years, but my musical soul will never move out of Portland. It was in the 80s. It was it was just an amazing place. Cheap rent. It was Portland before Portlandia, before cutesy Portlandia. It was more Portland noir, kind of like an early Gus Van Sant.
I like that Portland noir. I kind of like
gritty. It was gritty. It was raw. Rents were cheap. It was a little dangerous in places, but there was great music scene, great, poetry scene. And eventually I got, I wound up, me and a partner named Derby wound up forming a band in the early 90s. And, we didn't sound at all like grunge. We were more like psychobilly. It was punk rock. After 95, the band broke up. I wound up, getting into internet early, I had a website up, 11 months before Bill Gates published the Road Ahead, which he said it's going to be something like the internet, but it's not the internet, and he quickly turned that around. So I beat Bill Gates to the internet. I kind of abandoned music for 15 years. I mean, I kind of, the band breakup was painful and we hadn't gotten anywhere, and I still listened to music, but in around 2010, climate policy frustration, people in my shop were working on the federal climate bill. I could see it was going nowhere. And I could see even if we passed it, it wouldn't match what the science was really saying. I was in a rage. I was getting in a rage in my downtown office. having to shut down my computer, walk home 3 miles to my house in Eastlake. And, I would just get smashed and listen to the hardest core music I could. And I said, I need to get back into performance. I need to start letting this out. So I called my old friend Derb, and he was ready to do it again. And so we got the band back together, and I, traveled to Portland many times. I probably burned too much gasoline. I probably driven between Portland and Seattle several times around the world. But
what was the name? What's the name of the band?
Well, the new band is Isolated Cases. Kind of even appropriate for a little precognitive for the time. So we reshaped the band, and we were pretty active for several years. And I started to write some tunes about global warming, about climate change. So I've got punky tunes about climate. I'm not going to try and sing them this morning. I'm going to torture your ears with that. I'm the singer in the band, but with my kind of music, that's kind of a term of art. And the problem with punk rock, I mean, folk is so much better for sending a message. You got to kind of compete with the guitar, but I did invent. We worked on some good lyrics, and I got some to read this morning.
Let's hear a little bit.
Yeah, so the first one is called Bizarro World, and here it is. Crazy looters, carbon polluters, bizarro world is hurled at you. You have made all the world a sea of catastrophe, a monstrosity. The world is insane, going down the drain for the sake of gain, children's world in pain. Crazy looters drill and burn, reach the point of no return. We just buy it, demand more. Give us that cheap gas, we're keeping score. The faster we go, the quicker we end. Give a rat's ass the message we send. How to wreck a world for fun and profit. We love our fuel, we can't get off it. Our fires are liars, burned for a few years, leave the planet scorched and our children in tears. Lakes beg, pardon me, it's Sunday morning. Lakes beg dry, lake bed shattered, rain didn't come when it mattered. Corn crop failed and it really hurt. Soon the meek shall inherit the dirt. Oceans on acid, bad chemistry, burn the fishes from the sea. Industry says no cause for alarm, seduce us with their oily charms. Slick billionaires hire their guns to tell us to ignore the sun. Drowned cities, seared dust bowls, our future is fully foretold. Crazy looters, carbon polluters, bizarro world is hurled at you. You have made all the world a sea of catastrophe, a monstrosity. The world is insane, going down the drain for the sake of gain, children's world in pain. So that's
Bravo.
Very nice.
Oh,
yeah.
Great. Yeah.
Wow.
It's a way to just, get out the emotion. I mean, I work for solutions. I continue to work for solutions. I'm not a doomist. I do have doomist friends, but I work for solutions. But some of my lyrics get pretty doomy because they're kind of the shock value, wake people up if they can hear it through the guitar, the blaring guitar. But that's one of my poems. I don't know if you're ready for.
Oh, that was deep. I love it.
Want to go into.
Yeah.
Very
So
creative.
Andy and Debbie, again, along the Hudson here with Pete Seeger in the ether, even many years after his passing, that there's these sentiments are there always. And the music is all kinds of varieties, angry, hopeful. What else is on your musical minds this morning? And then I might throw in Pat's inspired me to play Liberated Carbon, but I'll wait around.
Oh, cool.
I want to hear that. Well, thinking about a lot of folks are having economic hard times these days, especially with COVID and, being out of work, a lot of folks. And I was thinking about what song could work with that. And this is sort of a loose fit, but it's by the great Western swing band, Asleep at the Wheel. And it's a song called Dollar Short and a Day Late. And there's always time for Western swing. Okay, 1, 2, 3. I'm sitting in this bar, and if you wonder why I'm here, I've got a good reason for drinking all this beer. It seems my bills are rising at an awful rapid rate. I'm $1 short and a day late. This Cadillac you see me in, I won't be driving long. The repossessing man will soon be here and gone. Check books and calendars, just can't keep them straight. I'm $1 short and a day late. $1 short and a day late. I tried to change my luck, but it seems to be my fate. No money when my honey wants to go out on a date. I'm $1 short and a day late. Bartender, that's my story. I hope you sympathize. Tell me what I owe you, I sure won't be surprised. I'm gonna pay you someday, but you're gonna have to wait. I'm $1 short and a day late. $1 short and a day late. I've tried to change my luck, but it seems to be my fate. No money when my honey wants to go out on a date. I'm $1 short and a day late.
That's just great. Boy, smooth too. What a
Thank
great
you,
band
thank
they
you.
were.
Oh boy, yeah, they keep it going. I think it's really Ray Benson and lots of other folks now, but yeah, they've been flying the flag for, I don't know, 40 years
That's so cool.
for Western Swing.
Very
Okay,
great. So I again, inspired a little bit by Pat, I'm going to pull out this song called Liberated Carbon. I wrote probably 20 years ago. Oh my God, I can't believe it. So here we go. It took 1,000 generations for our species to rise. But gathering and hunting was no way to get by. We yearned to burn more than dung and sticks. Then someone came along and said, hey, try lighting this. He opened up the ground and took out coal and oil. Said, come liberate some carbon, it'll make your blood boil. Liberated carbon, it'll spin your wheels. Liberated carbon, it'll nuke your meals. Liberated carbon, it'll turn your night to day. Hey, hey, come on and liberate some carbon, babe, it's the American way. Now I got peat swamp fossils running my TV. BP's Black Label burns in my SUV. We can light up the planet like a Christmas tree. They say that things are getting hot, but hey, we've got AC. Liberated carbon, it'll spin your wheels. Liberated carbon, it'll nuke your meals. Liberated carbon, it'll turn your night to day. Hey, hey, come on and liberate some carbon, babe, it's the human way. pump those electrons and that gasoline. No sweat or hurry, just turn on a machine. We sent an army to the desert to keep this country free. Hey, hey, and to liberate some carbon, baby, for you and me. Liberated carbon, it'll spin your wheels. Liberated carbon, it'll nuke your meals. Liberated carbon, it'll turn your night to day. Hey, hey, come on, liberate some carbon, baby. Liberate some carbon, baby. Liberate some carbon, baby. It's the human way, at least for now, but not too long. So there you go.
That's 20 years old, huh?
Yeah, I wrote it during the Gulf War, the first Gulf War. I started it.
Sad that it just keeps coming back.
Time has come again.
Yeah.
That, you know, too bad it's still relevant.
Yeah, I know. It's a long journey. It took a long time to get carbonized. It's going to take time to get uncarbonized. It's a tough habit to break, especially just on Friday. Our show was on the climate disinformation wars and a new effort by a group called Clean Creatives, cleancreatives.org, to woo advertising agencies away from handling fossil fuel accounts. But that's a tough one too, because the money is there, you know. So
well, maybe if Biden's plan passes and more money is put into clean infrastructure, then things can start to evolve instead of devolve.
But they create jobs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
My WOG side is very excited about his power grid stuff. That's crucial to electrifying buildings, electrifying transportation. Right. I mean, that, you know, and bringing renewable energy across the continent, you know, from the great reservoirs of the Midwest, kind of the Saudi Arabia of wind, and the Southwest.
Right. Well, we'll see how it all plays out.
I just learned that I think the majority of the money is actually going toward building the infrastructure for electric cars and batteries.
Yeah, there's significant. You know, I think it's huge. You know, it's a huge. That's a huge part of it as well. And I mean, creating the market for electric vehicles by electrifying the post office trucks. I mean, that's major. You know, I mean that's very good stuff. I was a Bernie, but I am just, you know, pleasantly surprised. You know, I mean, I'm glad to be surprised by Biden. I mean, I think it shows how the politics. I mean, that's what's really encouraging. I think it shows how the politics has moved of this whole climate issue. You know, I feel I've you know, my music is, you know, has been generate. You know, there's been some despair. But, you know, I'm, you know, seeing the new climate movement, the, you know, young people in the streets, and it isn't all white folks like it used to be. Right. You know, I mean, I've got some hope now, you know, more than I had a few years back.
Our son is 30, and his generation is so, you know, first he was in this existential despair, and luckily has moved out of that. But they're acutely aware that we got to do this.
Yep.
Yeah. So, you know, my day job, I'm in the eyeglass industry, and I'm a journalist. And I just wrote about a company that is making eyeglass lenses out of a sustainable material, some type of a grain material that's combined with polycarbonate, which is a commonly used ophthalmic lens substrate. But anyway, by making it out of this sort of grain hybrid material, they're saying that they'll be able to use reduce the carbon footprint quite a bit. And there's actually a lot of sustainable efforts, recycling contact lens materials and all of that. And the eyeglass business is doing its part to try to make the earth a better place.
A clearer view of the problem.
Touche.
And solutions. Yeah. Pat, was there another lyric you wanted to read, or?
Well, this is something I've always done as a spoken word. You know, in our shows, my guitarist inevitably breaks a string, and
So you keep this in
so
reserve?
this is what I've typically read while he replaces a string.
That's
And the
pretty
story behind this, it's called Dead Cities Walking. And the story behind this is, like I said, I grew up in Pennsylvania. I grew up in Reading, Pennsylvania, which used to be mostly famous for where John Updike came from. Now it's famous for where Taylor Swift came from. But Mom and Dad used to take us down to the Jersey Shore every summer for a few weeks. And I mean, I knew, long before Bruce Springsteen made Asbury Park famous, I knew Asbury Park from where, the folks took us down in Ocean City and Atlantic City and Wildwood and the boardwalk. And I told my daughter about this, my young daughter, she was, 12, 13 at the time. And, the warm ocean you could swim in. And, I love the Northwest for all of its natural attributes, but the East Coast has something the Northwest doesn't have, which is an ocean you can swim in without a wetsuit. So I had some relatives back there and took her back a couple of years, to, stay near Ocean City. And we would, go swim, in the ocean for hours, that nice Gulf Stream warmed Jersey Shore. But the second year, I had these kind of carbon black glasses on. Totally pleasant day on the boardwalk, eating pizza, the people with the multicolored umbrellas all over crowding the beach, just a wonderful, beautiful day. And I can't get my mind off how close to sea level we are. These barrier island cities, and how long is this going to last? And, will my daughter be able to take her kids to Ocean City? And 3 years later, this was 2009, 3 years later, Superstorm Sandy indeed flooded a good part of Ocean City, Atlantic City, kind of a precursor for the future. And Ocean City, New Jersey is rated as like one of the first places to go. So anyway, I was moved to write some kind of Bruce Springsteen-ish lyrics that I call Dead Cities Walking. And here it is. Seen the rotting casino towers fall before the rising tide. Their salt-corroded skeletal remains, relics of a reckless age, crumble into the rising sea. Seen the rising tides devour the Trump and Howard towers. One day the ocean got an urge, sent the shore a big storm surge. Where the lights were once so pretty, now a real Atlantic City. Now the city, now the sea, wreck remains now underneath. We take tours out there by submarine to see what's left of the gambler's dream. Cruise old shore towns, Ocean City to Cape May, drown boardwalks where they used to play. Where they used to tour old homes of ghosts, now we tour the ghosted coast. They're building new Atlantic City up north there in Kittatinny. They move the roulette wheels and one-armed bandits beyond the reach of the sea. Old Philadelphia is now beyond the coast. New Philly rises out on old US 30. They're building new New York where Yonkers used to be, now that the city's submerged. They've saved the lady, deconstructed her, put her back together up there in New Times Square. We see the old skyline dying in the sunset. Driving down ghost highways, Garden State parkways, memories of former days. Old Led Zepp playing, signs are saying, Ocean City, Cape May, driving on my way to Dead Cities Walking.
Oh, I like that.
I'd like to, if Bruce Springsteen is tuned in, I'd like to sell you some lyrics, Bruce.
That's pretty. I just love that. That gets to something I've had on the show. In December, I had Kim Stanley Robinson on, who's a great science fiction author whose books are mostly about climate futures with waters lapping in Midtown Manhattan and like. But making the point, this is happening. Absorbing these timescale issues that we miss in the daily flow of the news is really important. So that was really cool.
Thank you.
I could hear it in sort of beat style too, with a quiet bongo or something behind you.
That would work as well. Yeah, that would work as well.
Pretty wild. Thank you for that. And it's great to have you on here. We'll have to get you back on during the week too, because we can talk about some of the tough issues
Indeed.
yeah.
Like we've been talking about this week. Yeah.
I know on Twitter, geoengineering, but boy, oh boy, that's a mess and a half. So Andy and Debbie, is there one more tune before we get on with the rest of our days here on Easter Sunday, the end of Passover, so much going on in the world? Oh, sorry, I think you're, maybe I have to unmute you. Hold on. There we go.
Okay. And we're back.
Yeah.
Here's a little travel log. We could take you, since people aren't traveling too much, we could take a quick trip to Louisiana. Here's something. This is called Got You on My Mind. The song was done by a group called Cookie and the Cupcakes back in
I love it.
early 60s, I think. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Got you on my mind, feeling kind of sad and low. Got you on my mind, feeling kind of sad and low. Wondering where you are, wondering why you had to go. Tears begin to fall every time I hear your name. Tears begin to fall every time I hear your name. Since you went away, nothing's gonna be the same. No matter how I try, my heart just can't see why I can't forget you. If ever it should be, you wanna come back to me, you know I'd let you. Got you on my mind, feeling kinda sad and low. Got you on my mind, feeling kinda sad and low. Wondering where you are, wondering why you had to go. All right. No matter how you try, my heart just can't see why I can't forget you. If ever it should be, you wanna come back to me, you know I'd let you. Got you on my mind, feeling kinda sad and low. Got you on my mind, feeling kinda sad and low. Wondering where you are, wondering why you had to go. Wondering where you are, wondering why you had to go. Wondering where you are, wondering why you had to go.
Just great.
It's a little
Beautiful.
swamp.
Oh, beautifully done. I was playing silently.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Oh, you could have played regularly.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
but you can't. It gets all messed up when you try to play.
That's why we have to have a live in-person session. sometime.
That's right.
Yeah.
No,
That'd
it'll
be
be
great.
coming. I got my second
Yeah.
shot last week, so we're
Oh, cool. We're fully vaxxed.
Me too.
fantastic.
Uh-huh.
Fantastic.
Great.
Well, Patrick, maybe we can do some psychobilly with you one day.
Yeah,
Oh man, that would
yeah.
be great. That would be
Yeah.
great. So this was a wonderful session this morning. I'm showing here a slide from next Sunday,
Oh yeah.
My good friend Gwen Laster, who's
Uh,
used to live here in Cold Spring, right where I am, and she's now in Beacon. Great jazz and improvisational violinist, and our usual cadre of folks. You're all anyone is welcome to join these shows through the Sundays as we do them. So that's a wrap for today's show. Great to have Pat Mazza on
Yeah.
the first time.
thanks for
from
inviting me. Yeah.
Climate Solutions 350 and Direct Action World out there in the Pacific Northwest. Keep up your work. It's a vital nudge to the system. And I was really, what you said about that legal strategy. With people think
Yes.
about innovation, they tend to think of a new battery or the like. But there's also innovation in terms of how to approach legal questions and policy
Very
questions too.
Yes.
Right, exactly.
Tremendous stuff.
And it takes experimentation, and
Mhm.
that takes people who are willing to do some interesting stuff sometimes, even on railroad tracks. So great to have you here. And again, Pat and Debbie, great to have you here always. So that's it. That's today's session.
Thank
Folks out
you.
there,
Thank you. It was
Yeah,
such
it
a
was
pleasure.
wonderful
Thank-
hearing everything.
folks can get in touch with me with feedback or ideas for future sessions, or if you want to come on, look at that little scrolling distracting bar at the bottom. This is the Earth Institute Sustain What webcast from Columbia University Earth Institute, although I'm, of course, from talking to you from the Hudson Valley, from Lenape territory, about 50 miles north of New York City.
Yeah.
Have a good day. Have a good Easter, if that's
Thank
what you're
you.
into.
Thank you, too.
Enjoy spring in the
You
Northern
too.
Hemisphere and fall in the Southern Hemisphere. Take care.
Beautiful.
Take care.
Take care.